Things just took a shocking turn as Shams has just dropped a brand new report revealing a crazy update that has major implications on the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes. And we're going to dive into exactly what this crazy update is, as well as an official mock trade that sends Giannis Antetokounmpo to the New York Knicks. And we're going to dive into what this mock trade is and what the return will be in exchange for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Guys, how's it going? We got another edition of Bucks Digest going here. Before we get into all of this crazy news today, we noticed that 67.5% of you are not subscribed. So please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Your support has been absolutely unbelievable so far over these past couple months, and we thank you so much for it. But guys, a lot of news to go over today. We know there was a lot of stuff going on yesterday, of course, with the Giannis Antetokounmpo news reportedly requesting a trade, or not really requesting a trade, but kind of mulling over his future with the Milwaukee Bucks as of right now, as they did drop a game to the Washington Wizards, which is funny enough that this is the team that really sparked all of these rumors and news right now. But guys, let's get into all the news for today. If you didn't watch the game last night, Giannis Antetokounmpo suffered a right calf strain against the Detroit Pistons on Wednesday and will not return, which was announced from the team. After the game, head coach Doc Rivers told reporters that Antetokounmpo is undergoing an MRI. Rivers added that he believed the Bucks had ruled out the possibility that Antetokounmpo had injured his Achilles tendon on the play. The injury occurred only minutes into the first quarter. After a bucket from AJ Green on an assist from Antetokounmpo, the Greek superstar began jogging back down the floor and suddenly went down to the floor, grabbing at his right leg. He stayed down to the floor for some time, gesturing towards the affected area. The Bucks called a timeout, and Giannis returned to the team's locker room. He was able to walk off on his own, which is great to see that he walked off on his own. I know a lot of players, when they do get a really nasty calf strain, they really can't put any pressure on it because of the correlation it has to the Achilles, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. It continues on here saying that Rivers believed Giannis Antetokounmpo's injury may have stemmed from contact with a Detroit defender while driving along the baseline before passing to Green. I thought the bump was what made him lose his balance, which is what Rivers said. Antetokounmpo was playing his fourth game since returning from a left adductor strain that cost him to miss 4 games, and he unfortunately suffered that adductor strain in a game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, which triggered a massive losing streak for the Milwaukee Bucks, which is, interesting enough because in that losing streak they did play the Detroit Pistons, and they fortunately won last night, which we'll go over a little bit later. But guys, very sad to see that Giannis Antetokounmpo went down once again this season with a calf strain. And the thing about calf strains is that it is just it's an injury that you don't want to mess with. It really isn't. If you watch Game 7 of the NBA Finals last year, you know what happened to Tyrese Halliburton. You know what happened to that team in Game 7. Such an unfortunate injury to see. But we'll get into that a little bit more here. But Shams dropped a new report today saying that Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo is expected to be sidelined for approximately 2 to 4 weeks with a right calf strain. Now, getting back into this calf strain here, another player that suffered one earlier this season was Victor Wembanyama. And of course, if I was the Spurs, I wouldn't want to risk anything at all with a calf strain with Victor Wembanyama, given what I said before about Tyrese Halliburton. That is something that you don't want to mess with. You really just want to take your time really nursing that injury, making sure that it's fully capable of doing whatever movements that you want it to in a basketball standpoint. But yeah, calf strain, not good, not a great injury to get, obviously, with the correlation that it has to the Achilles and the gruesome injury that can happen if you do eventually tear that muscle down in your leg. But guys, overall, let's look at Giannis's trade value with this injury right now, because of course, when you have a calf strain, a lot of teams might look at that in a way and be like, oh, I don't really want to mess with that right now. I don't know what the implications are with this. I don't know, nobody knows what the Milwaukee medical staff is like. A lot of teams across all the 4 major sports sometimes have medical malpractice. A lot of the doctors kind of say, you can go on and play. You're good. You're fine. Just get out there, warm it up and stuff. And of course, that doesn't really work out in their favor because sometimes they do get injured even worse than before. But looking at his trade value right now, a lot of teams, we won't really know exactly what their thoughts on it are, because we need to let the time go by. We need to let some weeks go on and see if people still want Giannis Antetokounmpo. At the end of the day, I really do think that teams are still going to want someone like Giannis. He's one of the best players in the NBA, top 5 if you ask me. And to get someone like him is not an opportunity that you want to miss out on. But I want to look at this mock trade here. And this is an interesting one in particular because it's a 3-team deal and it involves the New York Knicks and the Phoenix Suns. So let's have a look at the New York Knicks side of it first. So, of course, they get Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dillon Brooks, and Grayson Allen. And what I want to do with this mock trade specifically is just look at it from every standpoint of an NBA team. So, I want to look at it from the standpoint of the Phoenix Suns, the New York Knicks, and, of course, the Milwaukee Bucks. So, just going over New York here, as I said, they get Giannis Antetokounmpo, they get Dillon Brooks, and they get Grayson Allen. Now, of course, I mean, you could argue that the New York Knicks win this deal. They get Giannis Antetokounmpo and Dillon Brooks and Grayson Allen. They still have a very complete team there with him. They would have Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. They would still have Mitchell Robinson, Miles McBride. Very, very deep rotation there on the team. So in the end, I do think that works out for the New York Knicks. You look at the side of the Phoenix Suns there. They get Karl Anthony Towns, Kyle Kuzma, and Bakomi Diadet. Excuse me if I'm saying that wrong, but that would work out for Phoenix Suns, I guess, in a way. I mean, I don't think they'd be too crazy about getting Kyle Kuzma, but I know Devin Booker would be very happy to have Karl Anthony Towns there. But then we look at the Milwaukee Bucks, who get Jalen Green, OG Anunoby, Mark Williams, multiple first-round picks, and multiple second-round picks. Now, of course, I think that's a really great return for Milwaukee. They get a young, very high-floor player in Jalen Green. They get somebody who could be, who would fit this team perfectly right now in OG Anunoby, but of course, we wouldn't be able to get him with the assets that we have on this team right now, even though he would fit perfectly alongside Giannis and the floor spacing, rim protecting big in Miles Turner. And they also get Mark Williams, who I think could be really good for this team if you slide Miles Turner over to the 4 spot. I mean, he's basically a stretch big anyways, and I think Mark Williams could really thrive next to him as well. Overall, I think it's a solid return for all teams. I'm not sure Phoenix would be too keen on letting Dillon Brooks, Grayson Allen, and Jalen Green go right now because they're in a pretty good spot. There's a 7th seed in the Western Conference, so I don't think they're looking at really kind of dividing their team at the moment because they're kind of on a hot streak right now, and nobody really thought that they were going to do the things that they're doing right now, which is winning a lot of games, because I certainly wasn't one of those people. I don't think Phoenix thought they were going to win that many games either, but they're definitely on a hot streak right now, and I don't think that they're looking to break this team up so soon. So overall, I think it's a good return for the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think Phoenix would do it because they kind of lose all of their players. I mean, they're losing, They're losing Mark Williams, Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and they're losing 4 players right there. 4 really great rotation players that are playing really well for them right now. And I don't think that they would want to give that up. I mean, they're only getting Karl Anthony Towns in return. And don't get me wrong, Karl Anthony Towns is a great NBA player. He's a NBA All-Star, but I don't think he's really going to take them anywhere with the team that they would have left after trading all these players away. But take a look at the Milwaukee Bucks there, and I don't think that is a bad return for them. Even if this trade did happen, I think that's a solid foundation there for an NBA team. I mean, you have, if this team hypothetically did happen, you would have Ryan Rollins at the point guard spot, Jalen Green at the 2, OG at the 3, and of course, as I said, Miles Turner would slot down to the 4, and Mark Williams would stay at the 5 spot. And of course, you get all of your draft capital as well, which the Milwaukee Bucks, if you all know, have absolutely none of that. They are totally depleted in draft picks. So, I mean, that's the main thing that they're looking for with a Giannis Antetokounmpo trade, is most likely draft capital and young moldable players. But taking a look at the stats here for OG Anunoby and Jalen Green. We'll take a look at OG Anunoby first, who is, of course, playing a great year. He's having 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, 2 steals. One of the best all-around defenders in the NBA. Would fit this Bucks team really well right now, and is overall a great 2-way player. And you look at someone like Jalen Green as well, who hasn't played a lot of games this year for the Phoenix Suns. He did have one game in his debut where he scored over 20 points, around 28 to 29 points per game, super efficiently as well, which is a lot of the spites with Jalen Green is that, he's a shot chucker. He doesn't have great decision making. He's a low IQ player, but I really do think that this is a different version of Jalen Green right now. He's in a different situation with the Phoenix Suns. He's in a winning situation, might I add, with the Rockets. I know last year they were a contender. They were in the playoffs, but most of Jalen Green's career has been, kind of on a bad team, putting up empty stats. But guys, overall, I want to get your opinion on this mock trade, as well as Giannis Antetokounmpo's injury right now and the implications that it has for the Milwaukee Bucks and his overall trade value, and what this has on the trade market right now. And if teams are kind of scared to go for him and, pick up the phone and call John Horst and see if they still want him, or maybe they do, maybe they don't. Not too sure right now, but we'll see as the weeks go by. And as always, guys, go Bucks.